right. Class is in session. As always, brought to you by the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter, The Amazing Spider-Man. We are 10 pages into Chapter 3 of our project. First two chapters are done, they're 24 pages each. One is on sale on the website, one is on sale during the Kickstarter right now. And we've even attached a cover to this CFS draft here of Chapter 3, which is not even done yet. We're By the end of today's class, we'll have hit the halfway mark, 11 and 12. That is the goal for today. Let's do a quick, of course, rip through. The first 10 pages, of course, we opened up with a nice little infrastructure shot of Empire City. We showed Dr. O's minions roaming around where they run into a killer croc-like figure, the lizard. After he takes out two of them, the last guy is able to stabilize the lizard. They feel that maybe he got his hands on the super soldier serum. Perhaps he did, or perhaps it was Kirk Connor's own experiment gone awry, and he's been trapped in the sewers. How did their fates coincide? Either way, we haven't captured. Peter Parker and Ned Leeds go to Oscorp Tower to interview with the mayor, who's doing some damage control after the Mars colony. Commissioner Stacy is there on hand, talking about the ransoms and possible threats to Norman's life. Norman is trying to brush it off to get rid of Commissioner Stacy. Commissioner Stacy kind of leaves, makes a little allusion to Peter. Norman gets rid of Ned. He has Ned go off with his cute assistant that looks like Daryl Hannah because we have Norman Osborn looking like Gordon Gekko. And this is where we have kind of like a cool face-off between Norman Osborn and Peter Parker, where during this little face-off in their private lounge of what will soon be the Mars Control Center, Dr. O uses his nanobots to take over the room and display video footage that he had saved of Norman Osborn trying to execute the architects of Empire City. He shows video of Flint Marko falling into a sand thresher. He shows video of Adrian Toombs' hover technology shooting him off into the sky without letting him down. Shows Dr. O's radioactive office stockpile being collapsed upon him and sabotaged, him sinking into the ocean. We show Craven, who provided specimens, but we don't know that part yet. Norman will catch, and Commissioner Stacy will catch that Peter recognizes Craven when he's showing all these videos. Norman accuses Peter of perhaps being more involved than he thinks. Peter kind of they have that little tough little face-off, and then Peter backs off. But then realizes he's got to stalk Dr. O. On a hunch and some information from his parents' lab about the attempted execution and supposed death of Dr. O, he stalks and he waits. Several hours, he waits at the dock, where Dr. O's minions eventually show up to bring the lizard's body down to the underwater lair. Spider-Man follows, of course, attaches himself to a wall, tries to use his sonar equipment, and when he's listening in, he sees that the lizard is breaking out of his restraints. Dr. O is looking to fight him and show off his strength, but just before anything can really go down, Peter makes the mistake of pulling out his camera to try and get a picture. But even though his camera is on silent, it triggers a nanobot alarm. Peter tries to get away. He's got his scuba mask on that he made with his webs, but he gets shot up full of lasers. He gets fucked up. And that's where we left off on page 10 last time. Let's read pages 9 and 10, and then we will start mining these comic books and coming up and writing pages 11 and 12. The goal of every class: 2 pages, 6 panels a page, art direction, dialogue, notes for the next pages, notes for the next chapter. We are comic book writers, the best in the business. All right, so page 9. We should read the previous pages. We see Spider-Man keeping his distance while swimming after the minions as the body is gliding with the slip ship towards Dr. O's underwater lair. Instinct and immaturity tells me to take out the minions and save the package, providing some frustration in his war of egos. But Uncle Ben's voice preaches patience and pursuit, so for now I'm just one of the fish. Peter looks on in awe as he sees the outside of Dr. O's underwater lair. We see it as a makeshift mutated structure that glows from radiation bursts that flow from the sections of what was once an office and laboratory that was destroyed and collapsed. Essentially, the lair looks like an office scientific lab that was sunk to make an artificial coral reef. You can see upgrades were made with all the plutonium and uranium that Dr. O is in his abundance. So it is an aquarium that formed from the ruins of the destroyed lab of an evil genius. Peter says, as I get closer to the main stage, so much started coming clear. Dr. O was biding his time. For years he had taken what was supposed to be his tomb and turned it into his new lab. No doubt he was financing the upgrades and constructions, as well as this band of minions, fucking bugs, from selling cakes of whatever was glowing in those windows, and stealing the rest from the sewers and landfills. You have to give the man credit, even if he is batshit. Spider-Man attaches himself to the closest wall of the structure, blending in with a school of fish, masking him from the minions. He sees the minions loading the slip ship with the body into an opening of the structure, SFX of the airlocks. So now that the good doctor has seen Oscorp's newest toy, he finally has what he needs to exit the Empire. So who am I to stand in his way? As the minions all enter, we see Spider-Man try to shoot a web at the closing airlock, but his web isn't as effective underwater and isn't able to prevent the lock from closing. SFX of the web shooting and gumming up in the water, as well as the airlock closing. Mental note for Uncle Ben, remember to work on upgrading web shooters for underwater combat and surveillance. Should I ever go searching for the Horn of Atlantis. But for now, looks like it's going to be an outside job. We see Spider-Man webbing up and constructing an underwater helmet. SFX of the web construction. Whatever was in my veins was transferred by a radioactive spider, but it took several documented hours in a crusty old lab to become a master of webcraft. Close-up on Spider-Man's utility belt shows his press and trigger a sonar device, where he attempts to listen in on the Doctor and his minions. SFX of the muffled sound coming from the belt and device. Crawling across the wall with his scuba helmet secured, we see Spider-Man make his way to a central spot close to a window into the Doctor's lab and aquarium. Spider-Man listens in as the sound signal gets stronger. We hear the Doctor and his minions. Is he still alive? Yes, Doctor, but the tranquilizer will wear off once we cut off the freeze. Very well. You gentlemen will retire for the evening. But Doc, go. What I wanted to do here was add just a little layer of sinister. I didn't want the Doctor to be some, helpless guy. It's almost like after he kind of went, tit for tat with Mayor Osborn, he's riled up. So he wants to fight the lizard. And that leads us to page 10. Spider-Man tries to get a better view as he observes Dr. O turning off the freezing suit of the lizard. SFX of the suit shutting down, and the Doctor's chair moving towards the awakening body. You are quite the hidden treasure, my friend. I've been looking for Dr. Proctor's formula for too many cycles. And now just maintaining you and extracting that formula will cost me more than I had budgeted. I don't like budgeted, that's a shitty word. More than I had calculated. Calculated. Will cost me more than I had calculated. But I can imagine you are a worthy variable, and you have bought the mayor some valuable time. We see the lizard begin to tear through the suit. SFX of the suit tearing and ripping, as well as a monstrous reptilian growl coming from the tearing suit. That's it. Awaken, my sweet monster. My reunion with the mayor has left me rabid and restless, so attack me if you will. We close up on Spider-Man as he pulls a mini camera from his utility belt. We hear the mechanisms from Dr. O's converting chair and Spider-Man's radio, SFX of the chair transforming. The same laboratory that became my executioner, the same office that became my prison. Through my superior intellect and will to survive, I have turned it all into my weapon. Not all, I have turned it. I have transformed it. I have transformed it into my weapon. Close-up shot of Spider-Man snapping a picture. The snapping triggers a nanobot alarm. SFX of the pic snapping and nanobot alarms. Close-up on Spider-Man pressing his gadgets back into place in a hurry. We hear several nanobots and minion guns loading and being pushed into position. SFX of the guns and nanobots ready to open fire. Intruder alert. Ah, shit. We see a shot of Spider-Man using all of his might and strength to push off from the wall of the lair and spring himself upwards towards the surface. The power of the push-off severs his scuba mask as we see him shooting frantically for the surface. We see several guns and nanobots firing on him, while we see some minions emerging from the airlock. Less effects of all the shooting and underwater switching and chaos. Slowed down by the water and abundance of lasers, Spider-Man is shot up several times, the lasers cutting through his suit and nearly slicing him up. Spider-Man groans in agony and barely escapes. SFX of the laser shooting and cutting at Spider-Man. And that is where we left off, children. Moving on to page 11. Let's set up page 11 and mine ourselves some goddamn comic books, huh? All right. He will get fucked up and then caught by the cops when he gets to the surface. He will eventually be released by Commissioner Stacy once he reveals the doctor's plan. That's what we're playing around with here. That's what we're doing notes-wise now. Dr. O knows Peter is Spider-Man so he can have some of his minions go into the police station dressed as cops to kill Peter. Commissioner Stacy can have his moment helping Spider-Man escape while he is in restraints. Commissioner Stacy will have to sneak him out because perhaps the mayor will now want a piece of him. Dr. O can get his revenge at the end. Okay, we talked about it already. Planning to drop the city, drain of its resources. Maybe he wants to sink Empire City that he can live in it, which he plans to destroy out of Final Fantasy VII. Dr. O could kidnap or threaten Uncle Ben. At first, Peter may taunt him, but then Uncle Ben will show him a video of sniper target Uncle Ben while he's out grocery shopping. All right, we're still something for the lizard. All right, we're still playing with these notes. I like the Commissioner Stacy sneaking him out, so we're going to save that. Let's move that over to the notes section of page 12. All right, kids, we get to this spot. We are halfway done with this fucking chapter. We cut to the surface at the docks at the Empire City dock. We see a large bubbling formation. As the moon light hits the base of the surface, almost providing a spotlight. We see Spider-Man emerge from the bubble formation. He is heavily bruised and bleeding, and his suit is torn and scarred and singed in several places. He reaches out and up as he gasps for air and coughs. I like that. It's effects of bubbles. It's effects of the gasping, coughing. All right, let's do some mining. Now, in terms, we can take the storyline part here because this was used in Amazing Spider-Man, whatever the Tom Holland one when he fought. Great fucking movie from home. But there may be side stuff going on here with Commissioner Stacy, Gwen Stacy, Captain George Stacy, Mary Jane, Harry, Norman. Let's see what we can get out of this issue. We don't get to the next one. We want to write. We want to get what we can get to finish page 11. Besides, after all these to get fucking trips and balls, I think he is running. This was a great issue in terms of time up in smoke. I mean, this is stuff. Remember, you could use for the next time when you do the next book and bring in Mysterio, or you can have Mysterio somehow drop into the story too, fighting his time. Yeah, this lip thing here. He can't figure out what's going on. What Gwen thinks it's him asleep. A fucking fever. He's riding his bike to school. He's got he said out. He's pissed off because he looks for a fucking police is here. Culture is there. Good lord, we got pictures. He says, Jesus, sell the motorcycle. Oh, he's depressed. He's pissed. He's walking through the crowd, setting off. Says, maybe I should go in. An asshole. Realize how he can use the spider persona to make some fucking. He's a asshole shit that always runs out on her, but he's happy. George Stacy's here. All right, what do we got? Anything we could use? Vulture, we got George Stacy. Now, I want to bring in the commissioner. I don't think the commissioner will be waiting by the docks. As a criminologist, my interest is professional, too. Captain George Stacy, he's only around for another, 24, 25 issues before he gets taken out. We got to really use him here. I don't want to kill him in this issue. At least not yet. It's too obvious that he's got to go. If I could just convince Jameson he's wrong about the website, his hatred of him is almost psychotic. What do you think Spider-Man's real motives are? He seems driven by some inner compulsion. Something must have happened in his past. So now he's happy because he's got. Uh-oh. Norm's hiding out. They didn't think we'd have a dozen ways to enter his own factory without being seen. Let him search for me. The mere thought of his roommate makes me boil. Unfortunately, Spider-Man gets his boiling through. And he's watching Mysterio. Enjoy this city. He's totally Spider-Man. He passed out. Mysterio, you fucking asshole. Then he hits him with some drugs. Next thing he's getting the shit kicked out of him by a fucking smoke. Oh my Christ, what am I doing? I'm in the middle. Use part. They use this really well in the Jake Gyllenhaal goals. There's much we could use there except for Captain George Stacy. Let's pull something out of there. We cut to the surface of the Empire City dock. We see a large, bubbling formation as the moonlight hits the base of the surface, almost providing a spotlight. We see Spider-Man emerge from the bubble formation. He is heavily bruised and bleeding. The suit is torn and singed in several places. Spider-Man crawls to the dock. He is met by a pair of boots. By two pairs of boots. I mean, is he going to fall unconscious? Or do they zap him? What do they do here? Say no. As Spider-Man crawls to the dock, he is met by two pairs of boots. Do, 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 do. Pair of boots. 1. Evening, Spider-Man. Evening, Spider-Man. The pairs of boots hit Spider-Man like device. The pairs of boots hit Spider-Man with a taser-like device. Spider-Man groans before passing out in his pain. SFX of the taser and Spider-Man dozing off. So we've got our action that we're writing out here. We just haven't written any actual real dialogue here, but we're playing around. Pair. That's right. Boots 1, boots 2. Boots 1. Evening, Spider-Man. The pairs of boots hit Spider-Man with a taser-like device. Spider-Man groans before passing out in his pain. Boots 1. Should we boost the mask? Negative. Boss gave specific orders. So we don't know who picked him up. We're going to show, of course, that it's the cops picking him up. But you have to give the idea that either Dr. O got him, Norman Osborn got him. We're going to have some fun here. Should we boost the mask? The mask? Should we lose the mask? Negative. Boss gave specific orders. Bag, tag. Bag him and tag. Should we lose the mask? Negative. Boss gave specific orders. Bag him and tag him. The unconscious Spider-Man, we see the unconscious Spider-Man being zipped into a body bag and loaded into an unmarked vehicle. Commissioner Stacy will have to sneak him out. We see the unconscious man being zipped into a body bag and loaded into an unmarked vehicle. As the vehicle takes off, we see some of Dr. O's minions emerging from the water, armed and observing the vehicle exit. One of the minions gestures to his communication. In Doctor, there's been a development. Doctor, there's been a development. We need a little more something here, whether it's story, exposition. You can't just have 3 lines of fucking dialogue on the page. Let's mine this next comic book. We have Spider-Man fighting Mysterio, and let's see what we can come up with in terms of storyline, dialogue, something. Because we should probably add another panel. There's not much going on this page except for Spider-Man getting zapped, coming out of the water. Something else has to happen here. Every page is important. Doesn't just move the story. We cut to the surface at the Empire City dock. Let's play around here. Let's do some mine, motherfucker, to squat a spider. There we go. So when we last left off, Spider-Man's tripping balls right now. Being very gigantic. Being tricked. With we saw all of this in the movies. We're looking because this was already used. We can't use previously used material, recently used material, if you will. Aunt May, of course, is flipping out. Look at the door at one on Earth, and here, Petey broke it last issue. Doctor, I'm so glad you're here. Aunt May feeling poorly again. He's getting annoyed with Mr. Parker. Amazing how she loves that useless teenager. I know how to spell it, JJ. News. I have reporters or the end of the world. Don't forget our dinner day. See, what else can we do here? Do we want a transition scene? Is something else happening before Peter wakes up? Or do we just have him wake right up immediately? I used to hate this. I used to use this much webbing up at once, but we have no choice. He gives his arms up. Barriers. Big clone. Full serial battle. This was done to fucking justice in the home. So we look to it's happening in this was a lot of fun. Here we go. Is it Peter Dad? I've been waiting. I won't do it until I pick it up. Piece of shit. Sorry, Gwen, it's for me. So this is all about, we're looking mostly for Commissioner Stacy here. On my way home from school, of course, stupid Randy Robertson, who's fucking her. This is the race relations, of course. Mysterio is still fucking after him. But his head. A demonstration. Oh yeah, I remember this. This was when, okay, I remember now, this all comes back to me, start reading them again. Robertson's kid, Randy Robertson, goes to the college. The college has some fucking stupid tablet. This was the tablet that the gangster had to read and it made him young. Then he grew all the way into a baby and then disappeared and the baby died. Like a Benjamin Button kind of thing happens. So that's what we're setting up. It's good old fashioned Spider-Man beats the shit out of Mysterio. Sees a fucking protest. These days, this is when it got a little cheesy. But this was Stan Lee doing his thing. Making his most crisis on the cans. Okay, so we need dialogue here. Large bubbling formation as the moonlight hits the providing a spotlight. All right, so Peter can be reflecting a little. Okay, I like this. In my arrogance, I let my guard down. Forgot about the doctor's army of mammoths. Should have waited on the camera. I should have been paid. All right, so again, a lesson. We see Spider-Man emerge from the bubble formation. He's heavily bruised and bleeding, and his suit is torn and scarred and singed in several places. He reaches out and up as he gasps for air and coughs. Can't call for Ben. My radio is shot. I can't call for Ben. My radio is shot. Pretty sure. One of those fucking lasers sliced across my throat. Nah. A radio shot. Whatever is left. I can't call for Ben. My radio is shot. Tells me I'm not alone. As Spider-Man crawls to the dock, he's met by two pairs of boots. Evening, Spider-Man. His boots hit Spider-Man with a taser-like device. Spider-Man groans before passing out in his pain. Should we lose the mask? Negative. Boss gave specific orders. Bag him and tag him. All right, that's good. We see the unconscious Spider-Man being zipped into a body bag and loaded into an. He shouldn't have any inner thoughts there because he's unconscious. Do we need any more lines? Bag him and tag him? They bagged him and tagged him. So that's the next panel there. Panel 6, as the vehicle takes off, we see some of Dr. O's minions emerging from the water, armed and observing the vehicle exiting. One of the minions gestures to his communications. Doctor, there's been. So now we're jumping. We need another panel here. That's not a lot going on that page. Not a lot going on that page. We need one more panel. Panel 7. We see a blurry eye view from Spider-Man's POV as he begins to wake up. In his blurry vision, he can slowly make out what looks like Uncle Ben. Where am I? Ben, they grab you too. They grab you too. Where am I? Ben, that you? They grab you too. They grab you too. All right, I like this. They grab you too. So we'll come into page 12. Now let's give this is going to be an 8-panel page. The blurriness subsides. We see that it is not Ben, but in fact, Commissioner Stacy. Was brewing pot of tea. SFX of the tea whistling, of the teapot whistling. So the idea is, I don't think Commissioner Stacy hears him say, Ben, just where am I? Ben? They grab you too? The blurriness subsides. We see that it's not Ben, but is in fact Commissioner Stacy, who is brewing a pot of tea. SFX of the teapot whistling. Bang! There we go. That's page 12. There we go. Page 12. Let us move our notes. Sometimes we use them, sometimes we move our notes to the bottom of page 13. As if once we reach page 12, the end here will be at the halfway marker. It's fun to mark these things down. Making comic books, counting boogie, making comic books. So what we have now is Peter Parker was tased at the docks. We now he is in police custody. But he's in the private chambers of Commissioner Stacy. So now we need to get some more of our story here. So this page 12 here, our last page for class, we have to have some interaction between Spider-Man and Commissioner Stacy. He's just woke up. Commissioner Stacy's brewing a pot of tea in his office. And two, we see Spider-Man is lying across the long leather couch. Closer. Call it hover. Long leather hover couch. Commissioner Stacy. Where am I, but Ben, is that you? Did they grab you too? So Commissioner Stacy will say, answer your inquiries. You are in my office. You were in my office. My men have been pursuing. My men have been pursuing you since the Mars colony. My men have been pursuing you since your appearance on the Mars colony security tapes. Panning out, coming 2 weeks, Spiderman is lying across the lawn of the Huff Couch. Commissioner Stacy. Commissioner Stacy is bringing over a steaming pot of tea and a cup for Spider-Man. To answer your inquiries, you were in my office. My men have been pursuing you since your appearance on the Mars colony security tapes. Security streams. My name's George, and I don't drink coffee. My men have been pursuing you since your appearance on the Mars colony security streams. Steams, not streams. Streams. My name is George, and I don't drink coffee. Spider-Man lifts the mouthpiece on his mask. He can sip the tea. Thank you. Kept my mask on. I was tempted. I was tempted to take a peek. My men told me I was tempted to take a peek. My men told me. God damn it. I was tempted to take a peek. But an unconscious man has a right to his privacy. I was tempted to take a peek, but an unconscious man has a right to privacy. So why am I not behind bars? So why am I not behind bars, Commissioner? First, tell me why. First, tell me why you were at the docks. Why you look like First, tell me why you were at the docks, and why you look like you were chewed up and spit out by a shark. Shark man. First, you were at the docks. First, tell me why you were at the docks, and why you look like a shark, and why you look like a shark pile. Sound like you look like a pile of shark shit. I like it. First, tell me why you were at the docks, and why you look like a shark pile. Thank you. You kept my mask on. I was tempted to take a peek, but an unconscious man has a right to his privacy. So why am I not behind bars, Commissioner? First, tell me why you were at the docks, and why you look like a shark pile. I like that. See, I like that term. Why you look like a shark pile. All right. We need some more interaction. This, I think, could be broken up. This could be broken up when the mayor might be sending his people to come collect Spider-Man, or the doctor is sending his people. The point is, what we need here on this page is, besides Spider-Man telling Commissioner Stacy some shit's going down, some people have to come there for him. Which means, by the end of this page, or continuing to our next class, Commissioner Stacy has to get fucking Spider-Man out of there. People are coming for him. Dr. O and Norman Osborn want a piece of this motherfucker. But we don't know yet that Norman knows Peter Parker is Spider-Man. He just wants Spider-Man because he thinks part of the Mars colony, all this other shit. So I like this. I like where we're going with this. We got some sinister shit going on here. First, tell me why you were at the docks and why you look like a shark pile. I like that expression. Why you look like a shark pile. Spider-Man leans in on the commissioner. First things first, Commissioner. You trust your men. I don't trust anyone, except maybe my daughter. I don't trust any man. With the exception of my daughter. I don't trust any women. I like that line. First things first, Commissioner. Do you trust your men? I don't trust any man. With the exception of my daughter, I don't trust any women. This is a secure room. But this is a secure room. So say your piece, son. I don't trust any man. With the exception of my daughter, I don't trust any women. This is a secure room. So say your piece, son. Hmm. How does he tell him? What do we want to do here? Spider-Man's got to literally lean in on the commissioner and be like, dude, some shit going down in your fucking city. The mayor's had a bug on him. And Peter can say, how would the mayor get a bug on me unless he knows? Ooh, and that's when he's like, Commissioner, Commissioner, you have to get me out of here. I know you don't trust anyone, but I'm asking you to trust me. All right, I like this. I like this. I like where we're going. I'm working it out in my head here. Working it out in my fucking head here. All right. I don't trust any man, with the exception of my daughter. I don't trust any women. This is a secure room, so say your piece, son. You were right about a lot of things, Commissioner. Mayor, the dead architects, Mayor, the dead architects. You were right about a lot of things, Commissioner. The mayor, the dead architects. First things first, Commissioner. Do you trust your men? I don't trust any man. With the exception of my daughter, I don't trust any women. But this is a secure room, so say your piece, son. You were right about a lot of things, Commissioner. The mayor, the dead architects. One of them, specifically, is looking to blackmail the mayor. He got, he's got a ton of footage, SFX, of pounding at the door. One of them specifically is looking to blackmail the mayor. And he's got a ton of footage. What do you know? What do you know about a doctor oh, SFX of pounding at the door. Commissioner Stacy opens his door and sees an security detachment with federal badges. Federal mayoral badges. With Oscorp tags and badges. So the idea is Peter's about to lay it all out for the commissioner. There's a knock at the door. I was thinking about we can't use Flint Marco here because then Flint Marco can just turn into the fucking Sandman and fuck some shit up. And I don't want to bring him in yet. Commissioner Stacy opens his door and sees an armed security detachment, Oscorp tags and badges. Commissioner Stacy opens his door and sees an armed security detachment, Oscorp tags and badges. All right, so we need to have a little bit of a back and forth here. See, I don't know if it's Oscorp or it should be Dr. O's people. One of them specifically is looking to blackmail the mayor, and he's got a ton of footage. What do you know about a Dr. O boom, 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 pounding at the door? Commissioner Stacy opens his door and sees an armed security detachment with Oscorp tags and badges. Where are we going here? Let's do some mining. Let's do a little mining. They have this clay tablet to some campus. It's older than the priceless Dead Sea Scrolls. We use the tablet as a MacGuffin because it just makes you age backwards. The Science Foundation has been sending different universities, hoping one of them will be able to read it. It's on the campus of ESU here in the city. Kingpin wants the tablet. I don't know why he wants the tablet. He says, "Send me your greatest thug. Fuck some people up. It's meat. You pussies. I chop you all. I spit your face. So Spider-Man in the city. He needs crime pictures. Porno movies. You see Randy Robertson. Meet him from Joe Robertson. He's the crazy black dude. When Stacy rolls up, like a man, get some trip. Being treated like shit. He goes to Meg, wants to marry. Together. He's playing this like his king approach to get by sneaking. Oh, fuck Kingpin over the city. We're not using Kingpin yet in our storyline. More of a daredevil villain. He was more iconic with Daredevil. Is there anything we could use here? Other than Kingpin saying, I'm going to tear everybody. And then Kingpin slams him, slams this dude against the wall. It's a knockdown. Randy Robertson gets involved. As always, it's a pain in the ass. You get a fucking tab. Everybody black. And then Spider-Man has to swing in the Kingpin's clutches. Again, not a fan of that arc. Can't say I'm a fan of that arc. This story arc is essentially the Kingpin stealing the tablet. Another gangster steals the tablet from the Kingpin. It turns out the tablet is the fountain of youth. It's a curse. It makes you age backwards. It's a kind of a cheesy fucking storyline. It was cool at the time. This runs for a couple of issues. So what we're really trying to mine out of these comic books is the side stories, the side plots with the side characters that we could use in our script. And we're kind of on a run here. And we'll keep using more issues if that's what it takes. Commissioner Stacy opens his door and sees an armed security detachment with Oscorp tags and badges. All right, guard one. Oscorp tags and badges. Guard one. Evening, gentlemen. Can I help you? We come as what? We represent the mayor, Commissioner. He's been given intelligence that says you have. We represent the mayor. We represent the mayor, sir. He's been given intelligence that you have the suspect, Spider-Man, in your custody. The mayor requests he be turned over. The mayor requests he be turned over to us. We brought the appropriate restraints. We brought the appropriate restraints if yours aren't fully sufficient. Sir. Evening, gentlemen. Can I help you? We represent the mayor, sir. He's been given intelligence that says you have the subject Spider-Man in your custody. The mayor requests he be turned over to us. We brought the appropriate restraints if yours aren't fully sufficient. What intelligence? I've only recently acquired the suspect, and he's currently unconscious. Allow me a chance to question him. I've only recently acquired the suspect. Allow me a chance to question him. I'm afraid that's not possible. I'm afraid that's not possible, Commissioner. We've been given specific orders. The mayor believes the suspect is behind another possible terrorist attack against the city. Close up on Spider-Man coming to and using his enhanced senses to listen in on the conversation as he sees the commissioner is stalling for him. I've told no one of my acquisition. Where is your intelligence? Where is your intelligence, sir? What source of intelligence? What source is your intelligence, sir? The mayor the mayor had put the mayor was able to put a tracker on the suspect. The mayor was able to put a tracker on the suspect. The mayor was able to put a tracker on the suspect, Commissioner. Close up on Spider-Man coming to and using his enhanced senses to listen in on the conversation as he sees the commissioner stalling for him. I've told no one of my acquisition. What source is your intelligence, sir? The mayor was able to put a tracker on the suspect, Commissioner. Spider-Man says to himself, Tracker. Would he be able to put a tracker? The only time I was around him, the only time I was around him was during the interview, which means, if he's tracking me, that would lead him to shit. Tracker. Nobody be able to put a tracker on me. Put a tracker on. The only time I was around him was during the interview, which means if he's tracking me, then that would lead him back to. I need that Luke Skywalker line. That would lead him back to Uncle Ben. A tracker. What would he be able to put a tracker on? The only time I was around him was during the interview, which means if he's tracking me, then that would lead him back to home. Locking the door behind him. Locking the door behind him. The commissioner approaches, grabs Spiderman. Commissioner Stacy. Commissioner Stacy. Someone close to me. Someone close to me is in grave danger. Going to have to ask you. Going to have to ask you to trust me and get me out of here. Locking the door behind him, the commissioner approaches and grabs Spider-Man. Commissioner Stacy, someone close to me is in grave danger. I'm gonna have to ask you to trust me and get me out of here. Commissioner will reply with, "Kid, looks like it's out of my jurisdiction." Sorry, kid. Looks like it's now out of my jurisdiction. The mayor's boys are waiting outside. The mayor's minions are waiting outside. The only way out is the window. I'm afraid you're gonna have to knock me out to get there. Sorry, kid. Looks like it's now out of my jurisdiction. The mayor's minions are waiting outside. The only way out is the window. I'm afraid you're gonna have to knock me out to get there. I'm afraid you're gonna have to knock me out to get there. Locking the door behind him. Okay. So we're doing our Commissioner Gordon, the Batman scene where he's telling Batman, dude, knock me out so you can escape and I don't know that guy. Or I'm helping you. So again, this is we could do 7, 8 pages here. Spend his line across the leather couch, okay. Lifts the mouthpiece, so he's drinking tea, leans in on the commissioner. So we can have more panels here because this is just conversational. And we can end with some action. Looks like it's now out of my jurisdiction. The mayor's minions are waiting outside. The only way out is the window. I'm afraid you're going to have to knock me out. I'm afraid you're going to have to knock me out to get there. Spider-Man hesitates, but he sees the commissioner wink at him. Spider-Man hesitates, but he sees the commissioner wink at him. Time's wasting, kid. I'm an old warhorse, but I can still take a hit. Time's wasting, kid. I'm an old warhorse, but I can still take a hit. Spider-Man hesitates, but he sees the commissioner wink at him. Time's wasting, kid. I'm an old warhorse, but I can still take a hit. Wink at him as they square off. Doing his best to hold back. Nah. Spider-Man hits the commissioner with a clothesline. With a lariat style clothesline. Knocking him into his couch for a perfect land. Doing his best to hold back, Spider-Man hits the commissioner with a lariat-style clothesline, knocking him into his couch for a perfect landing. As the couch flips backwards. Thank you, sir. We can't do 10 panels. Thank you. It's not thank you, sir. Not like thank you, sir. That's kind of cheesy. Doing his best, Obeck Spider-Man hits the commissioner with a lariat into his couch for a perfect landing as the couch flips backwards. Sorry, Commissioner. Hope you stick the landing. Sorry, hope you stick the landing. There we go. I like that. SFX of the punch, of the clothesline, and couch flip. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done. Because basically what will happen on page 13 is he'll get to the windowsill, jump out, as the guards are shooting at him. You know, guards will shoot at Peter. Guards will shoot at Spider-Man as he has to get back to make sure Uncle Ben hasn't been. Either Ben will get the jump on whoever the mayor sends, or he won't send anyone, preferring to have and go after Peter man to man. I like that better than the damsel or family member ransom. Family member ransom has been done too many fucking times. I don't like the family ransom thing. I almost like the idea of the villain saying, "You think I would really go after your uncle? I prefer things man to man." You know, that kind of thing. So I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, halfway marker, 12 fucking pages in the books. Not a lot of action on these pages, but we had some taser work. We definitely get some story moving, and we have a cool little interaction between Spider-Man and the Commissioner. Spider-Man leans over, tells the Commissioners what's up, but before they can really get into it, the mayor's guards are there. So what we have in this story is Spider-Man never really gets to fucking relax. Everything is just constantly moving. The next piece, the next piece, the next piece. And you don't want to just move it because of story. You want the story to keep it moving because it's got to keep at a frantic pace so that Peter never gets to settle. He's always getting moved around, getting pushed around by all these other fucking chess pieces in this wonderful game we call comic book writing. I hope you enjoyed yourself. We'll be back for page 14 next time. May fate decide if you make some money or enjoy it, buy a textbook, or contribute to the new Faro's Lounge Kickstarter, 29% to go, back over 17. New cover out today. 29% to go. Peace, love, and war. All that shit between.